In our episode 4, I interviewed a few unhappy residents of PJ who did not want the Dash and Kidex highway in their backyard, to say the least.
It might be cheaper and more conducive to bring curve to Shah Alam.
Hey, what's wrong being selfish here? Of course we are selfish. We are protective about our cities. We love our cities. We are citizens of Petaling Jaya.
I've actually shut down like 3 or 4 developments, all right, when I was a councillor. So yeah, they don't like me.
So I trotted off in search for answers. The folks from Dash could not accommodate to my request for an interview, but my charms worked its way into Kidex. Yes, I still have it. With the help of Datin Hasna, Strategic Communications of Kidex Sunan Berhad, and without a trace of makeup on, I snagged an appointment with Dr. Sharizwan Shafi'i, COO of Kidex, Mr. Anand Subramanian, Kidex shareholders representative, and Datuk Muhammad Noor Idrus, CEO of Kidex. First on the menu, are they using the taxpayers' money to build this skyway?
We have been telling the public at large that this is a PFI, Private Financial Initiative, where the funding is coming from the private sector. If there is any funding from the government also, it's on the land acquisition. So the government acquire the land for us. They build for whatever it takes to acquire the land, compensation to the houses, compensation to the land. But the rest of it, when we talk about the construction, is all the money that we raise from our financing exercise.
Okay, so our money's safe. But will the toll charges be giving me a nosebleed?
Lembaga Lebuh Raya Malaysia, the Kementerian Kerja Raya, these are the 2 bodies, okay, that determine our toll collections, okay, how much we want to collect. The government wants to know how much is the cost of completing the road before they can determine what's the toll rate.
Whew, at least we know there's some level of control on the toll rates. Now, the Say No to Kidex dudes are saying by 2028, Kidex will have a level of service F, which basically means stand still traffic. So why build a highway when you know it's going to be jammed?
This has been taken out of context or has been misinterpreted. The concession agreement very clearly provides for Kidex to provide for a level of service of D, and the moment we reach a level of service of D, adequate measures need to be put in place to ensure that the level of service does not deteriorate to E or F. We must remember that this is an elevated highway and it has got a limited capacity and it will not be in a position to take on more cars than what it is built for.
Then there is the LDP, which is the existing highway that connects Damansara to Kinrara. Wouldn't Kidex be an overkill?
LDP caters to about 144,000 cars per day, and it's anticipated that it would go up to 200,000 cars, perhaps exceeding at times during peak hours. With Kidex coming in, there will be cars which would be diverted to Kidex, especially for those who are traveling towards Kinrara. And then it's a function of the government to continuously improve services to the public. And their assessment has been that an alternate to LDP can help reduce the impact on LDP over the coming years.
Yes, but like the LDP, it has split the community of Kelana Jaya. Wouldn't Kidex be doing the very same thing?
Kidex, I want to re-emphasize, will be 100% elevated. I don't agree at all in terms of actually a highway like Kidex will be splitting communities, because the roads, for example, below will not be blocked. The roads down there or any pedestrian crossing will not be demolished. It will still be there, it can be used, so people can actually just cross the road just like before. You may even say that you may not realize that Kidex is up there.
Okay, but being so high up, they feel the concrete structures will be quite an eyesore for the residents of PJ.
Concrete structures we've seen in an urban setting. You go to Hong Kong, you go to Tokyo, you go to Kyoto, you go to China, Shanghai in particular. You see all these structures, grey behemoth that crisscrosses all over the place. in an urban setting. It's not something that's new to us. We have seen these structures, for example, in Subang, near SJMC, for example. We have seen our very own elevated highway that's called Akleh, though it's built over a river reserve. But you can see the structure quite high up there. You can see parts of Duke Highway, which crisscrosses properties and other roads. We see, for example, parts of Max, particularly near, say, Kesas and Bukit Jalil area.
Shouldn't a better public transportation plan be put into place before you start building another highway?
Government has actually put in a lot of initiatives to balance the multimodal split, which is presently 17% of the population using public transport and 83% using private. And they want to improve it to 50-50, which is an ambitious target to achieve. And even with 50-50, an analysis shows very clearly that we are still short of almost 10 to 15 lanes within the Klang Valley.
A lot of people are thinking about MRT, LRT because there's a rail there. They forget about, taxis, they forget about the buses, If we don't provide extra lanes or extra capacity for these buses, what are we talking about? Public transportation.
Singapore has one of the most efficient public transportation systems in the world. My simple question is, why is there still a traffic jam on PIE or Ayer Rajah Expressway and the other roads? So public transportation cannot supplant for private transport use. They have to complement. We are living in a society where we need to cater to both private and public modes of transport.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, with regards to safety, the Say No to Kidex folks argues that the highway will be built too close to 2 schools and a mosque. They want to know the preventive measures taken by Kidex in the event of an accident, should there be one.
They will ensure that there is noise barriers to ensure that the noise levels are low, and high containment parapet walls to avoid any major accident along the elevated expressway. The high containment parapet walls will ensure that there is no danger of cars or vehicles getting off this expressway even in the event of an accident. I don't think the mosque statistics is right, because we are elevating the existing road above its present level. So there is no way that we are getting any closer to the mosque than the existing road reserves.
Our quote, Lebuh Raya Duke, whereby the highway passes very near to a mosque, Masjid Jami'ul Ihsan. This is along Jalan Pahang. I think the proximity of Masjid Jami'ul Ihsan to the Duke Highway is almost similar, very, very similar to Masjid Bulat and Kidex. I've been to Masjid Jami'ul Ihsan. I prayed there, I've been inside. No issue at all in terms of noise, in terms of dust pollution and all that.
However, Kidex will take into account the requirements of sensitive areas such as schools, hospitals, places of worship.
I also raised their concerns that Kidex does not actually reduce traffic, but rather brings more cars into PJ.
I disagree with that, Daphne. Upon completion of the Kidex Highway, vehicles or traffic that's not supposed to be in PJ City Centre in the first place, they will be channeled through the new completed Kidex Highway. Therefore, the local roads, namely Jalan Semangat, Jalan Penchala, Jalan Utara, Timur, Barat and Jalan Sultan will benefit directly by having lesser unwanted traffic on their local roads.
On the opening year of our highway, 90,000 vehicles will be moving from A to Z, from Damansara to Kinrara. Without Kidex, where are these cars are going to? They're going to Seremban using the highway, or they're going to where? You tell me. Where do you think? This is PJ. Where do you think that I should go? Should I say, pity PJ resident, a lot of cars lah. Huh? I better walk lah, to this sampai pun tak apa. I don't think so. Okay? So the first basic, what I should say, things that they got it is that 90,000 vehicles less traveling on their routes.
What about the dispute about the recent public survey, which could be biased towards Kidex, as, well, it was paid by them?
If Kidex didn't pay for it, who else would be paying for such a survey? The government has certain requirements for a consultancy firm, and as long as the firm meets the requirements of the government and they are a professional body, I think the government gives it due credit and accepts such an exercise. When it comes to audited companies or even public listed companies, the auditors are paid by the company, but then they report to the shareholders. Why? And this has been going on for ages. And it is a time-tested method of getting your accounts audited.
After my session with the Kidex team, I was even more intrigued with this whole project. From two ends of the spectrum, I had to find out from the man on the street what they thought about Kidex. Find out more on episode 6.
Highways are not built in order to collect tolls. Tolls are collected because highways are needed.